Hi, my name is Will Nunziata, and I'm a New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film, and I'm also a proud FENIX Global Artist Ambassador. Today, I am thrilled to be speaking with CEO of the Palace Theater in Waterbury, Connecticut, Mr. Frank Tavera. For more on Frank, you can read more about him right below this video, but in the meantime, here is my interview with the incredible Frank Tavera. Frank, how are you?
Will, doing really well. Glad to be here with you this morning.
Frank, my fellow Italian.
Hey.
What part of Italy is your family from?
We're island people. We're from Sardinia, the other island. The one that you don't see on a pizza box. Usually you see Sicily, where the logo is, that's where Sardinia would be.
Ah, those pizza boxes, how dare they?
Damn them.
Well, my family's from Naples, as I told you pre-interview, but Frank, there's so much to cover in such a short amount of time. I feel like I want to do a 4-part 2020 special on you.
There we go.
First and foremost, I want the audience to know that you are first generation Italian-American.
Mm-hmm.
You come from a beautiful family. Everyone made their way, your family made their way over to Bristol, correct?
Yes.
And that's where your family still is.
Still there. My dad ended up in Bristol. My mom came from the old country. She's had 4 kids. I am one of the 4, and I'm sadly unable to leave town. So we have a great family in Bristol, Connecticut, yes.
Well, I kind of like it, Frank, because it's like, you know, I was born in Brooklyn, but you kind of took this whole idea of like, you know, the family stoop, everyone kind of stays on the Brooklyn, you know, block for generations, but you were brought from Brooklyn to Bristol.
Mm-hmm. There we go. It's perfect title too.
You know what, Frank? These are the ideas that come to my mind, but you provide such a safe space where I feel like I can be my crazy Italian self.
Please do. I'll join you.
And speaking of great spaces, Frank, you know, here you are, first generation Italian-American, growing up in this beautiful family where your family actually had a tile business. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, interestingly enough, not the plan I had in mind, right? I went to college, graduated the University of Connecticut, economics major in Connecticut, right? So Hartford is the insurance capital of the world. The intention was economics degree, get into insurance, which seemed like a good idea at the time, unless you're first generation Italian, and my dad had something else in mind. His idea quite simply was, hey, we're gonna open up a store because he had a flooring business with my brother. And we need someone to open up the store. I had 0 retail experience, 0 experience running an operation. He said, this is what we're doing. And guess what? I did it for about 10 years. It was a great experience. Loved working with my family, with my father. It was wonderful.
Well, when I look at the landscape of your life, Frank, especially your professional one, you know, you've always, obviously, you have such a pride in family. I mean, not only are you coming from a tight-knit family yourself, but you began your family, well, you know, I mean, pre-began your family because you met your wife when you were 4. You knew that you were going to marry her at 14.
Yeah, it's one of those stories. Yes.
I love it. Don't worry. I'm not going to eye roll Lifetime special because my husband and I, we had a Harry Met Sally story. And every time I mention it, people eye roll. So don't worry. I believe in this type of stuff. So tell me about how you met your wife.
I'll say we're in high school, freshman year. First day of high school, nonetheless, I met her sister who had incidentally had gone out on one date with my brother. So
how did that work out?
It didn't. Fortunately for everyone, that relationship didn't work out. So that was a win. So I meet my sister-in-law. Her name was Donata, a nice Italian girl, Donata Magic Pinto, right? She introduces me to her sister, Deirdre, the Irish name, but whatever. So I see her, and in my head, I just banked it. I said, that's the girl I'm going to marry, left it at that. Seriously, there was nothing else. We were friends in high school. There was no relationship besides classmates, friendship. Went to college. Nothing really happened. And then there was one event that we don't need to talk about right now. Something came out of nothing. And in the back of my mind, it was always a master plan. My wife was unknowing participant to this thing.
Well, I was about to say, was she an unknowing participant?
She was.
Until your wedding day?
Yeah, well, no. Before then.
I'm just kidding.
So yeah, no. And then we started going out and a relationship, grew out of it. And it goes back to the comment you made, Will, about family. We were very friendly. We had a great relationship. We were like brother and sister in many ways. And that is, we've been married for 32 years. We have 3 great kids. I will become a grandfather in about 2 weeks, go figure. So yes.
Frank, congratulations.
I'll be a no, as the Italians say, so.
Well, Frank, by the way, and not many people know this, so exclusive, my sister is about to have her first baby, and it'll be in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so yeah, it's exciting stuff.
The baby's due August 9th. When is your?
August 9th. Get the hell out of here, seriously.
Okay, Frank, we got to keep going, because I'm gonna start tearing up. You're bringing it out of me. Okay.
Yeah.
Frank, after a few years, well, almost a decade working in the family business, you soon thereafter, in 2002, got a proposition.
Mm-hmm.
A little theater known as the Palace Theater, and by the way, little in italics, not little. This is a theater that is one of the most gorgeous pieces of real estate ever. I mean, outside of a Broadway house, this is immaculate, but it had laid dormant for close to 20 years. Mm-hmm. And they were looking for a CEO to revitalize it. And somehow you said, I can do that.
Well, there was a small jump in between my family business with Tavera Tile. I did have about 9 years at the Bushnell Center for the Performing Arts in Hartford, another phenomenal venue.
Were you doing Phantom of the Opera there or something?
Phantom of the Opera. Now, I wasn't performing, I was selling tickets. So
but you were performing at the box office, singing, giving the music of the night through your ticket selling.
Absolutely. And it's funny because in my head, I always thought, when I made the leap from tile to the theater business, it was tile. I was either selling tile or tickets, all the same thing, right? It's
another memoir tile.
Yeah, another one.
From tile to tickets.
Yeah, that's another chapter in the book. But the reality was, from my perspective, economics major, a business guy, it really is about selling what I need to sell to the masses. And Phantom of the Opera was coming. It was going to be huge. Had a great experience at the Bushnell in Hartford. Did about 9 years there. Did sales, marketing, programming. By the end of it, I was actually booking the shows we were selling. And then I made the leap in 2002 to say, if I can do that at the Bushnell, I can become the executive director / CEO of a brand new venue. And I did.
So look what you did. This is a man, that majored in economics at UConn. So you have that in your arsenal. Went into the family business, knowing what it is to work with people you love, then taking those 2 buckets to the Bushnell, where you work your way up, literally from the ground up, to end up program director, and then taking all of these tools now to become a CEO. And not only, Frank, did you say, "Ooh, I can refurbish and get the money and get excitement around the rebirth of this gorgeous venue?" For 2 years, you went out into the community, old school Italian family man, about community and family, and you went into the family of this city and asked them what they wanted to see in the theater. 2 years you did that.
2 years. I was the fast talking snake oil salesman. I was a guy in Music Man, right?
You were Robert Preston.
I was Robert Preston.
And by the way, didn't have a good singing voice, but good performer.
What are you saying? What are you saying about my singing voice there, Will?
Frank, I'm not there yet. I can't analyze you this fast, okay?
All right.
It's a good cadence, so you got a nice nasal.
No, thanks. But so yeah, I was Robert Preston. I came into this community who was really skeptical, quite honestly, of the idea that this building, 2,600 seat, gorgeous building, was going to be fully restored. And I made the promise to them when I first arrived that, back to my roots, that Phantom of the Opera would someday perform in Waterbury, Connecticut. And they thought I was bloody crazy. They thought I was nuts. They thought I was full of whatever you can imagine. But I believed it. The passion I had for not only the venue, but the delivery of the art that I think people are desperate to see, it shone through. I've been here for 20 years, proud CEO, delivered Phantom of the Opera as promised here in Waterbury. and really proud of what we've accomplished so far. So it's exciting stuff. It really is.
Well, look at a beautiful, that's a beautiful full circle moment for you, from selling tickets to Phantom to putting it on in your very own theater. And on top of that, Frank, you know, I've been told my whole life at times that I was too much. You know, I had these dreams at 5 with my twin brother that one day we would headline Carnegie Hall. We were told we were crazy. Then we invited all those people that said no and gave them comp tickets in the front row. You think I'm kidding? On top of that, your enthusiasm is so infectious. And my favorite quote that lies up top, my vision board, is something that I know you believe in as well. And it's a quote from Fields of Dreams, and it's build it and they will come.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's exactly what you did. In looking at what you've already, you provide such a beautiful, safe space in the palace. This gorgeous, it's like piece of art, all types of art forms in your theater. Talk to me a little bit about what it was for you in terms of with your programming direct, but also your economic branding, knowing what sells type of mentality, the type of art that you like to put on at the Palace Theater.
Well, it's funny you ask that, because as the person responsible for the programming, right, I really do have to marry the idea of art and commerce. Those two have to blend together, because what I may like on stage may not what be the masses like on stage. So, you know, it really is, the first part of my job was assessing what the community's needs, desires, and wants were. Did they want Broadway? And if they didn't, I was going to bring it to them anyway, quite honestly, because I knew that the venue was the appropriate venue to do so. So we do touring Broadway productions of the largest scale, of the highest quality, and we're really proud of that. And for me, the energy, the excitement comes from not being backstage watching the show or the performance, but from being in the lobby, of watching people walk into the venue in shock and awe on how gorgeous and how glamorous our space is, or on their way out when they're leaving, when they said, that production moved me. There's someone in tears, there's someone crying. That's where I get my energy from, to see the impact that we had on the patron, not as much from the art, but really the excitement that we did. Because those are the patrons, Will, who are going to be coming back, who are going to be telling other patrons to come to see whatever. And for me, the real challenge is building, not challenge, but opportunity is to build trust. If you walk into our building, see something that you were perhaps on a question mark. Was it a rock act that you weren't sure of? Was it a comedian? Was it a jazz performer? If you came in to see that and said, it was a great experience from the moment I walked through the door, the customer service was on point, the presentation met every one of my expectations, and I got home safely because it's a beautiful night out, the ability and the inclination for you to return to our theater just has increased. And that is my job, to build that kind of level of loyalty and trust, that they can come to the Palace, see something, have an awesome experience, tell their friends, and return. And that's where art and commerce, the balancing act, is tough, but it's a necessary one for someone like myself, who's a CEO, not a performer.
Well, I want to say a few things, Frank. First and foremost, that's incredible that, you know, obviously this is in your bone marrow, to treat everyone as an individual like family. Most CEOs would look at the numbers and call it a day, clock in, clock out. I feel it, and I know that your community, your family, the people at the Palace Theater and your friends know this about you, that you are all about, even I'm sure if that 2,600 sold out audience, if there was one person in the lobby, you heard whispering, like a little discontent, like I could see you zeroing in on them and say, how can I make that better? Yeah. Looking for the opportunity. I mean, that's such a beautiful and inspiring way to think. And you keep saying, you know, you're not a performer, but I will say this, as a director, my favorite performers are the ones that just live in unapologetic truth. And you're someone who lives with abandon in unapologetic truth. And although you're not performing on stage, you know, you have to be on your best self at all times. So I actually think that there's a little bit of a performative gene in there.
Well, yeah, I guess you're absolutely right. There has to be, but the idea of, you know, taking the stage, belting out a tune, performing in any way, shape, or form, that would be the stretch for me, right? It really is. I mean, I truly am completely passionate about our building, about the artistry that we are delivering, and the fact that community engagement is vital and critical. to what we do. Will, you can appreciate this probably more than anybody. The last year and a half, during the midst of COVID, where live theater was not an option, was devastating for too many people. Not only for businesses, for performers, but for those individuals who had to go out, who lacked the ability to kind of see and engage and experience live theater one-on-one in mass with other people, kind of that palpable feeling, that was gone for 18 months. Now it's my job, our job, to get people back out to say, this is what live theater is. Wonderful on a device, wonderful on a screen. You might be able to pick up a Netflix so-and-so, but until you sit there and watch Will and Anthony perform on stage, right? You don't get to experience that until it's one-on-one, in person, with all that raw emotion. So that's where I do get my energy from. So yes, I guess I'm a performer from that degree because I have to present that to the public, and that's my job.
Well, Frank, thank God the performing arts has you as a champion, because it's people like you that are going to keep the art form of live performance alive. And, you know, I'm so excited that you're also coming on board this incredible new app, FENIX, where it's not only going to allow people around across the country know about you in the Palace Theater if they don't already,
Yep.
but, you know, audiences around the world, and, you know, to think about possibly the creative collaborations with, you know, other theaters and CEOs of performing arts centers in the East. I know for me as a director, as I told you offline, I'm already collaborating on 4 different theater pieces with artists in the East that I never would have even thought of. So the opportunities are endless. And I want to know, as we only have a few more seconds. Well, whatever. I'm the host. I can do this as long as I want, because Frank, I could talk to you forever, my friend. Where do you see the Palace Theater in the next, 2, 5, 10 years?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, my hope is, number one, that live theater continues in not only the form that it is, but it continues to grow. I really do hope, in fact, again, I have a college-age daughter. We have young people in our family. They're, stuck on their device, and this digital world, although very vital to what we do, it's a great enhancement. I hope that doesn't supplant live performance.
I agree.
Right. So I see us continuing to do what we do, but using the technology that exists, whether through a FENIX app, whether through other platforms, just to enhance that experience, to bring people along further, and to hopefully pre-engage them into coming into live theater. So tease me a little bit with something on the screen. Give me a little bit to work off of, but ultimately, your butt needs to be in the seat.
That's right.
You need to sit there in the building. I don't see a huge dramatic shift. I would dare say, are we going to do holograms of so-and-so? Maybe we will, but I'm hoping that we don't. I hope it's me and you in real time, in real person, presenting to the world in 5 years from now, but enhanced, only enhanced.
Well, Frank, I love that you said that, and I love that I caught yourself, because I do the same thing in terms of not looking at something as a problem, but as an opportunity. And that idea of how do you flip a no into a yes, looking at the possibility with a wonderment. That little kid in you has never left, Frank. And I kind of, believe it or not, see you. Seeing you reminds me of the little kid every day that wakes up and looking for the next thing. And Frank, I can't wait as a director to collaborate with you. Yeah, you're an incredible human being. You're an incredible leader. I can already tell, obviously, you're an incredible family man, but not only to your blood family, but the family of the city in which you were brought up in, Bristol, in the city in which you work and have the family in Waterbury through the Palace Theater. I'm so grateful to have spoken with you today.
No, I appreciate the time. I appreciate the platform. The last thing I would say is that our job as CEOs, again, not the true artistry, but the ones who present, we're the curators. So we have to continue to present. If we are going to bring a new form of art, let people expand their horizons, it's our job to kind of help be the delivery system to do that. So we need to take it seriously if, in fact, we want to continue to be doing this in a traditional format for years to come. So that's a task at hand. It's a big mission, one I take on very proudly and happily, and I'm glad that you and the organization are helping to promote opportunities like this. It's great. Very appreciated.
Amen, Frank. Well, if there's anyone that's going to be holding the flame, I mean, dare I say, in these Olympic times, but the flame on anything innovative or pushing anything forward, it's you, because you've proven it time and time again.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Well, Frank, so nice to meet you, and I can't wait to talk with you soon.
We'll talk again. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. Bye.
Age, artists and bands struggle to make a living. In fact, only a small number of artists can live off their craft. For the 98% of artists that don't have the luxury of being signed to a label, it's tough. But artists deserve to live off their art. Wherever you are around the world, appreciation of music does not change. FENIX brings bands and their fans together, whilst allowing bands to properly monetize their passion. The FENIX app will directly connect bands and fans with no need for middlemen. We're utilizing the blockchain to give the power back to the artist once and for all. Join FENIX, join the change.